This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, January 13th, our second broadcast of 2018. I'm sure glad you had time to tune in on the Saturday morning. And as always, we try to cover a whole spectrum of subjects on our Wall Street Raw program, from stocks, commodities, the economy. But as you know, I try to introduce the show as a financial, spiritual, musical, and economic program. So we just cover all the bases as best we can. We have a lot of guests lined up for you this morning. Don VIALOX will be with us later in the program. Hopefully, Jeff Friedland will be able to join us as well, Harry Boxer, and Don VIALOX. But meanwhile, I have a very special guest on the line right now, my good friend Bill KOENIG, who is the author of a very important book, Eye to Eye, Facing the Consequences of Dividing Israel. We've had Bill on the show a few times. It's one of my favorite subjects, and it's so timely because it ties in what's happening right now in the Mideast, our economy, and he's documented a significant amount of instances where there's a correlation between the U.S. efforts to divide, or any country or nation to divide the Holy Land of Israel. Good morning, Bill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Great to be with you as always.
Okay, so there's so much stuff to cover since our last broadcast. We've had a series of disasters. The U.S. suffered about $15 billion of weather disasters in 2017 alone. But why don't you give our listeners who haven't really heard you before a little background of what you've attempted to do here and succeeded in Eye to Eye?
Well, Mark, I noticed that every time the United States would pressure Israel to divide their land, the covenant land that God gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, we would have enormous catastrophic events. I started watching the pattern all the way back to the perfect storm when 35-foot waves were crashing into President George Herbert Walker Bush's home when he was calling on Israel to give up Judea and Samaria at a Madrid Land for Peace conference. And what I noticed is every time a U.S. president was meeting with an Israeli official, usually a prime minister, or his secretary of state was in Israel, putting pressure on Israel to comply with the peace process, we'd have these record-setting catastrophes. Matter of fact, we have had $175 billion events from the time of Oslo, from the time of Madrid in October of 1991 to this last summer, 2017, and over 110 have a connection to U.S. pressure on Israel at the very time of these catastrophes. And after a while, as you know, this isn't a coincidence. It keeps happening over and over. And what's important here, Mark, as I mentioned, these are record-setting events.
People listening to the show might think this is science fiction, but how many events have you documented in your book? It's hundreds, correct?
Documented 127 events, record-setting U.S. events that have happened between October 1991 and through September 2017 and Hurricane Harvey. My book was printed on the week of Hurricane Harvey. We do have it in the book. And then right after that was Hurricane Irma and then Marie. And by the way, all three of these record-setting events happened during the Jewish month of Elul, which is the month of repentance, before going into the holidays, the New Year, Yom Kippur, and the Feast of Tabernacles.
Let's go over some specific events. I know you've documented so many of them, but by going over a couple, I think could really hit home here. I know, like in 1994, for example, that Northridge earthquake in California occurred just at the time Bill Clinton was sitting with Bashar Assad, calling on Israel to leave the Golan Heights, and it happened almost immediately after that, for example, correct?
Yeah. Matter of fact, it was his father, Hafez Assad. Yeah, they were in Geneva, Switzerland, and Bill Clinton was calling on Israel to leave their land and also to split the city of Jerusalem. And within a few hours of that proclamation from Geneva with Hafez Assad next to him, a major earthquake hit Northridge, California, right in the center of the adult entertainment district, by the way, in the United States. So, 9/11, Hurricane, Irma, Harvey, Maria, just recently, Hurricane Andrew.
The fires in California, the fires and mudslides in California too, right?
Absolutely. Those have a potential connection, but the key at the time of those events were the hurricanes of last summer. I mean, we've never had a period like we did over those 30 days. And that was at the time the Trump White House, even though a very, very good friend of the State of Israel, they were promoting a peace process. And matter of fact, the day that Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico was at the very moment Trump was meeting with Assad of Syria, and not Assad, but Abbas, and also Al-Sisi and the King Abdullah of Jordan. They had three different meetings that day on the sidelines of the United Nations as Hurricane Marie hit Puerto Rico, and sat on it for that whole day.
For our listeners who don't know, Bill edits and runs KOENIG's Watch, which is a weekly summary of important Middle East and world news, and I would encourage all of you to go to watch.org and sign up for that. It's just terrific coverage on a Friday evening with all the important news, worldwide, economic, and particularly related to the Mideast. And Bill's also a White House correspondent. He joined the White House League there back in 2001. So incredible reporting skills, research, and effort has gone behind this eye-to-eye book. I know back in 2011, Bill, during that AIPAC meeting, we had one of the largest tornado outbreaks in history. Let's talk a little bit about what Obama was doing back then and what happened.
Well, that was the Joplin, Missouri major tornado outbreak. I mean, it was the largest spring storm in the history of the United States and the costliest. And what was happening is he was saying that Israel was going to have to go back to the six-day borders. He made a speech on the 19th, May 19th, and on May 21st, he spoke to the AIPAC, the largest Jewish lobby of 10,000 plus people in attendance, and it was very forceful about the fact that the United States was going to require Israel to go back to the six-day borders with a few land swaps. And his plan was to jump on Air Force One and fly to a G7 meeting in Europe and get everybody to unanimously back what he had just stated on the 19th at the State Department and at AIPAC, but the Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper, would not go along with that. So Obama's plan to have the international community endorse his plan didn't happen. But nonetheless, just after his AIPAC speech and on his flight to Europe, Joplin experienced one of the most significant outbreaks in the history of the country.
Bill, we have to take a break right now. We're talking to Bill Koenig from Watch.org. If he has time, we'll catch him after the break. If not, go to Watch.org for more information on his eye-to-eye book.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Every industry faces distinguishing challenges and circumstances that shape the business and financial landscape. Camuso CPA LLC delivers unrivaled depth of knowledge and an engaging experience relevant to each client's industry-specific needs. Camuso offers preemptive guidance and knowledge required to achieve your greatest business and personal financial potential. Our approach is based on forging long-term business relationships accompanied by trust and value, creating an ever-important partnership. Build your dedicated financial team with us today. Visit CamusoCPA.com. That's CamusoCPA.com.
Does the current world crisis in North Korea or our domestic crisis right here in America concern you? Well, I know it concerns me. My friends over at Legacy Food Storage have solutions in the event there's the inevitable. What's the inevitable? Civil unrest, a run on your local grocery store. And here's my question to you. If this happens, how do you feed your children? How do you feed your grandchildren? Legacy Food Storage has the solutions. In fact, they can help you implement a simple plan to take care of your needs in the event of the inevitable. By calling them right now, I have authorized them to give you a special 20% discount at checkout by simply using GCN. Call 888-543-7345 or visit them at LegacyFoodStorage.com. That's 888-543-7345 or visiting them at LegacyFoodStorage.com. Make sure you use GCN at checkout for an incredible 20% discount. Don't be a victim. Take control of your life now.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
A lot can happen in 6 seconds. A rodeo ride, a dramatic basketball win, and the world record holder can solve a Rubik's Cube. 6 seconds is how long it takes for an 18-wheeler traveling at a safe speed to come to a complete stop. And in those 6 seconds, that truck will travel the length of 2 football fields. So please, give them room. Never cut in front of a large truck for any reason. Our roads, our responsibility. Learn more at sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply. Or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. Earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, January 13th, and we have a very special guest still on the line with us this morning, Bill Koenig from the Watch.org website and author of the great book Eye to Eye, facing the consequences of dividing Israel. I want to finish up here, Bill, a little bit, with Trump having proclaimed Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Let me get some input from you on this. Do you think events will start to calm down a little bit with regard to these natural disasters, or the forces of evil are still out there trying to divide the Holy Lands?
Well, obviously, it's an enormous decision. I mean, it's just so significant, and I'm so thankful that he did this because, really, Jerusalem is the capital of the modern state of Israel. That's where all the government offices are. And from a biblical perspective, I mean, the Jewish people have a 3,000-year relationship with the city of Jerusalem. And as a Christian, 2,000 years Christians with the city of Jerusalem. So this is huge. There's still talk of a peace process, but what has happened is the Palestinians say unless Trump changes that plan in Jerusalem, they're not going to go to peace talks. So we'll see what happens, but it's going to be definitely very interesting to follow in the year ahead.
Well, I'm so pleased that he made that move. It was courageous, and as you pointed out, as many others have pointed out, we had several prior U.S. presidents promising to do this, and the Congress behind it, and nobody does it. And when Trump does it, he's criticized. It's amazing.
It's enormous, and our Congress is an overwhelming supporter of the state of Israel. They're the ones that favored the moving of the embassy to Jerusalem, which is another courageous move. So, I mean, the United States is literally Israel's best friend in the world and continue to stand on supporting Israel militarily with intelligence. And that's a two-way street. We benefit probably as much or more from Israeli intelligence as we do by giving them intelligence. So we're just very blessed by that relationship, and we continue to say that the land that God gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their descendants is not to be divided, and the biblical heartland of Judea and Samaria is not to be an Arab state. And that's really what the international community is asking for right now.
Bill, such a pleasure having you on the show. I know you have a meeting, and I guess you got to get back to the White House. So, Will Koenig from Watch.org, and if you have any opportunity, go to Amazon and sign up for, or subscribe and buy the Eye to Eye, these Facing the Consequences of Dividing Israel, fabulous book, and Bill does update it occasionally. Have a great day and weekend, Bill. Thank you for joining us, and good Shabbos.
God bless you, Mark. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
It's always a pleasure having Bill on the phone, and we hope to have him on regularly as we have in the past. In the wings, we have our good friend Don Vialou waiting for us here on this Saturday morning broadcast. Don Vialou is the past president of the Canadian Society of Technical Analysts. I guess we're jumping to business now from Israel, but, it's all tie-in on this program, as you guys know. He's the author of TimingTheMarkets.ca and also the blog EquityClock.com, which I follow religiously. Good morning, Don. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mark.
Well, market keeps moving into new record highs, just nonstop runaway move here. But let's talk about the earnings reports that have come out.
Yeah, fourth quarter earnings reports for the S&P 500 companies began to flow yesterday. Initial focus is on banks, in particular, J.P. Morgan and Wells Fargo reported yesterday. Consensus shows that fourth quarter operating earnings on a year-over-year basis are expected to increase 10.5%, and sales are expected to grow 6.7%. Now, please be aware the reports that from many of these companies will include a fully anticipated large one-time write-off related to changes in the corporate tax laws effective January the 1st.
The CRB index also broke out on Thursday for a new 27-month high.
Fascinating, because this is really very important for the commodity stocks in general. The CRB index, new 27-month high. Seasonal influences for the index are positive from mid-December to at least the end of March and frequently extending into April. The index has just completed a double bottom pattern, implying significantly higher prices between now and spring for commodities such as gold, silver, copper, gasoline, and crude oil. Commodity-sensitive stocks and ETFs are expected to respond accordingly.
You have a short-term cycle for gold coming into a peak sometime in late February, correct?
Yes, Gold is in the sweet spot right now, and also silver. There's a choice between the two. Silver actually normally is historically stronger at this time of year until the end of February than gold is. We had a nice little boot yesterday with what was happening with the U.S. dollar index. The U.S. dollar index dropped sharply, and that is very, very positive going forward for all commodity stocks and commodity prices.
I know that was a bit of a surprise. The U.S. dollar was on such a tear, and the Canadian dollar was pulling back, and suddenly it reversed. So do you think that pattern's going to change, or is this going to hold for a while? What's your sense?
Well, it looks like the U.S. dollar index is driving the train here, and it definitely looks like it wants to go lower. And so that means other currencies other than the U.S. dollar will probably move higher going forward.
Don, it's always a pleasure having you on the show, and you're so kind to take a few moments with us each Saturday morning here. That's Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com and TimingTheMarket.ca. Have a great weekend, Don, and hopefully we'll chat next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's Don VIALOUX from EquityClock.com. We were hoping to have Henry Weingarten online here. We'll probably get him on in the next segment. Basically, in the short amount of seconds we have left on this segment, let's talk about what's going on in some market sectors. One of my favorite sectors, the cannabis vice sector. We saw a big blow-off and peak there in the last several trading days, and now a sharp correction underway in that sector. But nothing has changed there fundamentally. We just got extended, so we're still a big supporter and buyer of the cannabis stocks. Of course, we had the big comment this past week from Attorney General Sessions that drove stocks down, and that may have been the initial trigger for this. But we were hoping to have Jeff Friedland on the show today. And Jeff Friedland will probably, if he's available later on the program, we'll go into some detail about what's going on with Sessions' comments and so forth. We only have a few seconds. Henry might have to hang around with us. We have Henry Weingarten on the line from the Astrologers Fund, afund.com. Good morning, Henry. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. It's certainly fun. Markets are up as we expected, although they're obviously a little extended. Oil's just about at our 65 target. Well, while it can go higher, we're going to be pretty much locking it in there. And we're most pleased that on January 9th and 10th, we said Bitcoin was going to get hit hard, and it did. So that suggests to us by by the end of June, July, it's going to be a thing of the past somewhat. It's obviously a very inefficient thing. As you know, I have a big thing against it. So,
Henry, hey, hang in there, Henry. We have a break coming up.
We'll talk about a lot more.
Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break with Henry Weingarten.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
People search the internet for everything, including you. With a few clicks, information from your past can be quickly discovered, from business deals gone wrong to misleading reviews, negative articles, and unflattering images. Studies show 78% of people search for someone online before doing business with them. Will they find the real you? With ReputationDefender.com, you can establish a positive internet presence. ReputationDefender.com pioneered the field with over a decade of experience, serving thousands of successful individuals and businesses. We use patented, award-winning systems to boost positive content and suppress negative material. Don't let the internet define you. Take control of your reputation today with ReputationDefender.com. For your quick, free reputation analysis, call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-503-8625. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-503-8625. That's 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home, and you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. 800-667-9035. That's 800-667-9035.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday morning, January 13th, second broadcast of 2018, and we have Henry Weingarten still on the line with us, finishing up from our previous segment. Henry, where do we leave off?
I'm sorry, what?
Where did we leave off? We left off on crude oil?
It doesn't matter. We can always talk. Basically, the two things we're very happy about. One is we're glad to see the bonds firmly above 250, obviously on their way to 275 to 3. It took them a long time to get there. And we're happy to see gold above 1,300 very strongly on its way to 1,400. Whether they get there by February or whether it takes till next February, we don't know. But we're happy to see those two things actually operating the way they should. So basically, markets are pretty much as you would expect. They're expensive. We think the only thing that's probably going to knock them down is when people see inflation, and the government's very hard for them to find inflation, but I think they're going to find it. And when the bonds get a little too tight, that will be some trigger to the markets, but most of that will probably be 2019. So the question is how to play 2018, and yeah, I think caution is the right way to do it.
Henry, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Henry Weingarten, if you want more information from Henry, go to afund.com. And Henry has been a managing director of the Astrologers Fund for many years, but he combines both financial, fundamental, and astrological tools in his analysis. So great market timer, and he's done this for, 50 years, Henry?
Well, I've done the astrology 50 years. We've only done the financial astrology since May 2nd, 1988.
Okay. Okay, still a long time. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Bye-bye.
So waiting for us patiently on the line is our good friend Jeffrey Friedland. Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Hi, how are you today?
Oh, great.
We're trying to take... It's a new year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you. It's been an exciting few weeks here in 2018 with the cannabis marijuana stocks exploding to the upside. And let me first introduce Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a CEO of Intiva, which is a multifaceted company in the worldwide legal cannabis industry. He's also author of the very important book, his latest book, called The World's Most Misunderstood Plant, which was published back in 2015. He's a frequent guest at numerous conferences, radio and television interviews, very popular. And Jeff, you've become like the leading expert in the cannabis marijuana field. I see you everywhere. I'm honored that you took time to spend a few moments with us this morning.
I don't know. I'm only one person, can't be anywhere, but I'm out there a bit, yes. I'm going to be speaking in Portland on the 23rd. I'm going to be speaking in Palm Beach on the 25th next, and I do 2 regular video television shows every week. They're on the internet. So.
Right. You go to jeffreyfriedland.com to pick those up, correct?
Right.
Right. And I encourage all of our listeners to do that. You're probably sick and tired of talking about it because I know you've interviewed quite a bit here, but the Jeff Sessions announcement, if we could take about 60 seconds to talk about that a little bit. It seems to have had initial sharp impact, but the markets seem to have quieted down a little bit. Where are we on that, in your opinion?
Well, let me just cut to the chase a little bit on it, just because not all of your listeners may be aware of what exactly happened. But on January 4th, a hell of a way to start off a new year, by the way, Attorney General Sessions rescinded all the executive actions of the Obama administration that allowed for state licensed marijuana to exist. So basically what Obama had done was to through his Attorney General, had said, well, it's illegal federally under the Controlled Substances Act, but if you do these things, it's cool for states that have medical and states that have adult use or recreational to be in business. So Sessions pulled the rug out from everyone and rescinded those. His premise being that the purpose of executive actions should be to clarify policy, not legislate. And essentially, if Congress wants to change the status of marijuana, let them change the status of marijuana. So that sort of safe harbor for investors in state-licensed marijuana businesses, for business owners, all got yanked out from under them on January 4th. That's the bottom line of it.
And from what I hear, many of the attorneys in the states, the federal attorneys, aren't going to be aggressive in going after anyone, despite his recommendation. It was the Cole memo, right? Which really wasn't any legal document. It was just a memo, correct?
Right. The Cole memo. Right. There were 2 Cole memorandums, and there were some other legal documents too that were also rescinded by Sessions. But basically, they were guidelines for the states, and it said to the state, like California, for example, or Nevada or Colorado, that are adult use states. It said if you do these things, we'll leave you, for the most part, we'll leave you alone and leave your businesses alone. And the key items on the Cole memorandum were keep the product, marijuana, away from kids. We all get that. Right. Keep it within your borders, your state borders. We understand that. Another one was keep criminal gangs and foreign drug cartels out of the industry. We get that too. So it was really a guideline to the states, but it was a guideline to all the U.S. attorney offices throughout the U.S. saying, hey, if the regulatory regime in a state accomplishes these things and the business is within, to not selling to kids, et cetera, leave them alone. That's what it was really about, because it's still illegal federally. It didn't change the status federally that it was as far as the legality of cannabis / marijuana.
Well, states like California, for example, are just giving the finger to the federal government here. So, they're going ahead with whatever they're doing, expanding. I hear nothing but expansion plans on the part of the local entrepreneurs there. So they're taking a bit of a risk, but nothing may happen because California is supportive.
Well, what it really takes, and I wrote a letter to the editor of the Denver Post. I posted it online. Cory Gardner is the senator here in Colorado. He came out aghast with the action of Sessions and said he was going to hold up U.S. attorney nominees in Congress. And what I wrote yesterday, and it's online, it just said, hey, we need a permanent fix on U.S. marijuana policy. We don't need executive action. We need Congress to step up to the plate and once and for all clarify marijuana policy and legislate. So Cory, don't be out there saying, I'm aghast that Sessions did this. Do what you're supposed to do in Congress as a senator. Reach across the aisle because there's support on both sides of the aisle, Mark, for legalization of marijuana. Over 67% of the American public wants legal marijuana. Do what you're supposed to do. Change the status of marijuana or exempt from the Controlled Substances Act marijuana that is grown, processed, or sold through state license regimes.
The support also comes, and this is your big area, is the medical marijuana aspect of all this. And if we run out of time on this break, hopefully you can hang in there for another minute or two if we don't have time to cover
no problem.
All of it. But that's really your focus, and to back off from Sessions and the federal law. Of course, that will change at some point, and there will be a congressional act, just like prohibition, I suppose. There will be an amendment either to the Constitution or what? There would be just a congressional
act. It doesn't take an
act?
amendment to the Constitution. It just takes Congress doing what it's supposed to do and legislate.
Jeffrey, hang in there with us. We'll be right back after the break. Jeffrey Friedland from jeffreyfriedland.com and author of the great book, Marijuana, the Most Misunderstood Plant.
Are listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Every industry faces distinguishing challenges and circumstances that shape the business and financial landscape. Camuso CPA LLC delivers unrivaled depth of knowledge and an engaging experience relevant to each client's industry-specific needs. Camuso offers preemptive guidance and knowledge required to achieve your greatest business and personal financial potential. Our approach is based on forging long-term business relationships accompanied by trust and value, creating an ever-important partnership. Build your dedicated financial team with us today. Visit CamusoCPA.com. That's CamusoCPA.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of a house being trashed while a gang of thieves ransack the place. And what they don't steal will be destroyed.
This year, resolve not to be the next victim of a break-in. Go to faketv.com and discover a device that creates the illusion someone inside is watching TV, even when you're miles away. Security is a mindset, and Fake TV should be part of your security solution. Be vigilant, but not fearful. faketv.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNLoans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNLoans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNLoans.com. That's GCNLoans.com.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. 800-667-9035. That's 800-667-9035.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready-to-eat right from the packed bacon. Or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, January 13th, our second broadcast of 2018, and we've had a terrific lineup of guests here for you this morning, and most notably our current guest, Jeff Friedland, who is an expert in the marijuana cannabis space, very sought-after speaker and lecturer and author of the book, The World's Most Misunderstood Plant. Jeff, thank you for spending a few moments with us this Saturday morning.
I'm delighted to be here.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about medical marijuana. You were pointing out that there are various aspects of that, and let's talk about what's happening with some key companies in Israel, and the importance of what's happening in this very significant market sector.
Okay, people are confused for good reason, because it's confusing. But when we talk about medical marijuana in the United States, there's approximately 28 states that have some form of medical marijuana. So there's more than half the states. Now, there's when you go into a dispensary in those states, when you talk to a bud tender, that bud tender, most of them are passionate about what they're doing, and you can say, I've got arthritis, or I've got back pain, or I have trouble sleeping. They're going to suggest something. And it's anecdotal evidence. There's really not science behind it. But a lot of it really works. So that's what I call state-licensed medical marijuana, Mark. Now, let's flip over to another side real quickly, and that's what I call cannabinoid-based pharmaceuticals. Cannabinoid-based pharmaceuticals. Cannabinoids being the unique chemical compounds of the cannabis plant, of which there's at least 111 cannabinoids so far that we know about. The big ones are THC, psychoactive, CBD, non-psychoactive, both of which have a lot of medical benefits. So on what I like to say, the real pharmaceutical side, which real pharmaceuticals are what we're used to buying at Walgreens or Rite Aid. We get a prescription from our doctor. We get a medication for a specific medical condition or disorder with dosage information. We buy it at Walgreens. Ideally, it's paid for by health insurance, and the world's wonderful. So it's been very difficult to do cannabinoid pharmaceutical research in the U.S., Mark, because it is a Schedule I substance under the Controlled Substances Act. But the 800-pound gorilla of the cannabinoid pharmaceutical development space is GW Pharmaceuticals, stock symbol GWPH, which is a UK-based company, and they're probably in the next few months, Mark, they get approval to sell their drug, Epidiolex, EPIDIOLEX, which is plant-derived CBD, non-psychoactive, for pediatric children's epilepsy, 2 forms, including Dravet syndrome. Now, that went through FDA trials like any other drug. Presumably, it'll be available this summer at Walgreens and Rite Aid. That's a big deal. And why it's a big deal to everybody who's an advocate of marijuana, medical marijuana, or cannabis, Mark, is it'll be the first time that the U.S. government acknowledges that there is a medical benefit for this plant. So it's like really a big deal. Now, you mentioned Israel, and Israel has been the leader in cannabinoid pharmaceutical research, going back several decades to the work done by Professor Raphael Mechoulam 30 years ago at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. What's really interesting there was, because it was illegal in the United States, Mark, the U.S., NIH, National Institute of Health, hired the Israelis to do the research 30 years ago. And, Mechoulam was the first to isolate THC, the psychoactive component. He then identified the receptors in the human body that really exist in the body, which is why THC has the effect on us. Not only makes us high on the recreational side, but provides a lot of the medical benefits. He did the same thing with CBD, Mark. He found the CB2 receptors, which is why CBD works so well as an anti-inflammatory and for seizures, et cetera. So Israel is the leader, and I think will be the leader. And I'm over there a few times a year. I speak at conferences in Tel Aviv. I'll be over there in March. One of the companies that I've been an advisor to is OWC Pharmaceutical Research, U.S. public company, OWCP. They're working, their primary product is a psoriasis cream. They've been doing trials and work in Israel on that. So it's sort of a big deal. I also, Mark, as you're aware, Intiva Inc., the company you referred to earlier when you introduced me, we have a subsidiary in the United States called Intiva Biopharma. We just started trading, not a lot of trading activity, but the stock symbol is NTVA. And we have 6 medical conditions and disorders that we're seeking to research with a U.S. FDA, Food and Drug Administration pathway, for 6 different medical conditions or disorders. So, we're a young company. We're at an early stage. We're not the first out there, GW Pharma is, but to some extent we're following the regulatory pathway that they did, with the goal and objective, and it costs a lot of money and takes time to end up with real drugs based on real science for real medical conditions, Mark.
Jeffrey, we ran out of time, and it was really a pleasure having you on the show. We're going to have you back real soon and follow up on this. Jeffrey Friedland, if you want more information, go to jeffreyfriedland.com, and if you haven't had a chance to read his book, The World's Most Misunderstood Plant, go buy it on Amazon. Jeffrey, we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you again for taking a few moments with us.
Thanks, Mark.
Waiting in the wings is our good friend Sinclair Nell. Sinclair, I apologize for keeping you on hold, but we want to get the scoop on cannabis and marijuana. Good morning, Sinclair. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you. I was listening in. It was interesting.
Sinclair Nell, KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the great blog, EatTheBankers.com. Sinclair, we only have a couple minutes on the segment, and we ran out a little bit of time today, but let's talk a little bit about what happened this past week at the Fed, where William Dudley said they may have to press harder on the brakes. That was interesting.
Yeah. Interesting, we're seeing the two different camps of the Federal Reserve now breaking out a little bit. You've got Harker, Kashkari, a few others in the dovish camp. Dudley saying, yeah, we may have to step on the brakes a little bit more as the economy starts to heat up and we start to see a few signs of inflation. And, of course, we had the big reports on the Producer Price Index and Consumer Price Index this week. Friday saw the CPI, Consumer Price Index, that's prices at the retail level, up 0.3% last month, and core CPI, excluding food and energy, up 1.8% over the past 12 months through December. Now, you start adding in higher gasoline prices that we've seen, and I think that's been an interesting move so far at the start of this year. Gas prices have been moving higher, and that adds to inflation, I believe, pretty much across the board. And you probably are looking at a situation where we have to start thinking about inflation. I mean, you've got WTI crude over $63 a barrel, Brent over $70, and then you've had reports from, for example, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin saying that the tax reform is going to add a whole lot of revenue for corporations. We're seeing stimulus, fiscal stimulus, finally, but it's coming at a time that's very late in the business cycle. It'll be interesting to see how that is handled, and I fully anticipate that the Fed will continue to step on the brakes in 2018. I'm thinking they're going to continue on with their kind of boring old 3 rate hikes, but we're starting to see this. We're seeing it in the bond market. 2-year yield topped 2% this week.
Sinclair, we ran out of time. Good to have you. Sorry for the short interview. Sinclair Nell, KFN 1510, and author of the great blog, eatthebankers.com. And as we always say, folks, we will know in the fullness of time.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest price filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.